Every sport has a map of greatness. In basketball, you prove yourself in the NBA. In football, it's the World Cup. In tennis, it's the 4 Grand Slams. And if you haven't won all of them, the conversation about your legacy never fully closes. Thoroughbred racing has its own map. Kentucky, Ascot, Dubai. You travel the circuit, collect the titles, and the world decides where you rank. But right now, on the all-time earnings leaderboard, every racehorse, every continent, every era, there is a name that doesn't fit the map. He has never raced in America, never competed in Europe, never seen the desert. His entire career was run inside a single city. And yet, he earned more prize money than any racehorse in the history of the world. $21 million. One city, one closed loop. His name is Golden 60. And what he did to the global racing establishment is one of the most quietly radical stories in modern sport. To understand this horse, you first have to understand the city that built him. Hong Kong is not a normal racing market. The Hong Kong Jockey Club is one of the largest tax-paying institutions in the entire region. On a single Wednesday night, midweek, under floodlights, at a tight inner-city oval called Happy Valley, the betting pools can dwarf the wagering handle of major American racing festivals that have been running for over a century. A Wednesday night. This is a place where racing is not a weekend hobby. It is woven into the financial fabric of the city. It is civic infrastructure dressed in silks. Billions move through it. Neighborhoods are funded by it. It operates at a scale that most of the world's racing programs can't touch, even on their best days. But here is the constraint that makes it extraordinary. Hong Kong has almost no breeding industry. The land simply isn't there. So every horse that races here is imported, sourced from auction houses in New Zealand, Australia, Ireland, England, shipped across oceans, cleared through quarantine, and dropped into one of the most competitive closed ecosystems in sport. Once they arrive, they stay. They race here, earn here, and build whatever legacy they're going to build inside these 400 square miles. Into this world, one afternoon, a young bay colt arrived from New Zealand. Purchased at auction. Decent bloodlines. Promising, but nothing that stopped the room. He was given a name, assigned a trainer, and brought to Sha Tin Racecourse, Hong Kong's grand modern home of elite racing. And the first time they asked him to run, something happened that didn't have a clean explanation. In the final stretch, when every other horse in the field began to tire, when the race slowed and sorted itself out the way races always do, he accelerated. Not the standard dig-in of a talented horse, something different. A gear shift that looked almost unfair. His final 400 meters were closer to a controlled explosion than a finishing kick. By the time the field understood what was happening, it was already over. It would keep happening, every single time. What followed was not just a winning run, it was a dismantling. 16 consecutive victories, across multiple seasons, against fields that kept improving because trainers kept throwing their best at him, trying to find the crack. There wasn't one. In a city famous for relentless pace, where the apartments rise 40 floors high and the streets never fully quiet, Golden 60 gave Hong Kong something rare, a reason to stop and watch. On race days, crowds arrived in his colors, banners, flags. People who had never followed racing suddenly followed racing, because following racing meant following him. He became the city's horse. Full stop. And then December came, and the world showed up. The Hong Kong International Races are unlike any other event in this sport, because instead of the champion traveling to the world's great stages, the world's great stages send their best horses here. Japan, whose racing program is among the most powerful on the planet. France, England, Australia. Champions who had spent the year beating everyone in front of them, now boarding flights to Hong Kong for one reason, to find out if the legend was real. He answered every time, not narrowly, not with photo finishes and drama. He would settle midfield, looking unhurried, almost casual. And then, as the field turned for home and opened up into full sprint, that gear would engage. The final 400-meter explosion. And the international visitors, the horses that had crossed oceans to dethrone him, would watch his silks disappear into the distance while Hong Kong shook around them, year after year, challenger after challenger. Same result, but not everyone was watching with admiration. As his earnings crossed 10 million, then 15, the international racing press grew louder. The argument was stated plainly. You cannot call yourself the world's best without racing on the world stages. Dubai, Japan, Paris. That is where legacies are confirmed. That is how greatness is ratified. Put him on a plane, they said. Let's find out what he actually is. His connection said no, not from fear, from logic. Consider what international travel means for a horse operating at this level. A 14-hour flight, climate change, new grass, new altitude, new everything his body has spent years calibrating to. Quarantine. The invisible stress that doesn't show on a form guide, but absolutely shows in performance. And at the end of all that, in many cases, a purse smaller than the one waiting for him 10 minutes from his own barn. Hong Kong's prize money doesn't compete with the world. Hong Kong's prize money is the world. The richest mile races on the global calendar are right here. The competition was already flying in. Why would you leave? The noise never fully stopped. And as Golden 60 aged into the later stages of his career, the critics shifted their argument. He's older now, they said. The window is closed. We'll never really know. Then came the 2023 Hong Kong Mile. He was not the horse he'd been at his peak. Even his supporters admitted it. He settled at the back of the field as the race developed, looking like a horse finding his limits. The kind of performance that confirms what people suspected. Then the final turn opened up. Whatever remained of that original acceleration, he called on every last piece of it. From the back, through a gap that should not have been enough, he drove through and ran. He crossed the line first. The earnings record, already his, extended further into territory no horse had ever reached. Here is the final ledger. More wins in Hong Kong racing history than any horse before him. The global earnings record, and it isn't close. A legacy built not by circling the earth, but by understanding exactly which patch of it was worth owning and refusing to be moved from it. We tell a particular story about greatness. It requires the passport stamps, the unfamiliar tracks, the hostile crowds, the proof gathered far from home. It's a compelling story, and it's often true. Golden 60 wrote a different one. He asked a simpler question. What if the most valuable real estate in racing is right here? What if the world's richest closed market is the only market that matters? What if you don't need to go anywhere because everywhere worth going is already coming to you? He was right, and the horse who understood that most completely, who committed to it fully and extracted every last record from it, now stands alone at the top of the mountain. He didn't conquer the world. He conquered the richest island on earth. In the end, that was more than enough.